I've been playing quite a bit of Misery these past few days, and it's been fun, so I want to quickly talk about it. If I'm done editing this video in time, it should release on the same day as the game, so you can have a better idea if it's something for you or not. But it's a big if. I'm not sure I will finish in time anymore. I've been too busy collecting every single item in the game. My bunker is just full of storage, filled to the brim everywhere, so much I started just stacking stuff on the ground. That's how bad it got. This loot addiction is a disease. Even if you never played the game yet, it's not hard to see that nobody needs a dresser full of pickles. Why am I keeping all this? I need some help. Anyways, I don't know too much about the actual story in the game, the lore, if you want. I didn't look too much into it, and it's not really important. It's a survival, building, crafting, extraction game set in a nuclear disaster zone. There's anomalies, bandits, monsters, artifacts. Let's say it's got some very strong S.T.A.L.K.E.R vibes. Actually, this game, to me, was mostly vibes until I played it seriously. I absolutely loved the release trailer a couple months ago. The song that was playing, it really got this Soviet post-apocalyptic doomer depression feeling that was just perfect. The game itself looked janky as hell, and I was a bit scared it was gonna be hot garbage. It won't be the first time, but at least I was hooked by the atmosphere. So now, after putting like 15 hours into it, here's what to expect. This is a recap of my solo experience, because I don't have any friends, but the game can be played by a team of up to 5 people together. It's a PvE co-op game. There's no PvP here. You're playing together, and it looks like a lot of fun, honestly, to do it this way. The solo experience is slow, lonely, and actually pretty immersive. I actually really enjoy doing everything by myself, and there's nobody to touch my loot and eat my pickles, which is the most important thing to me. So you start 60 seconds before the bombs drop. You have to grab everything you can in your house that might be useful. Generally getting a melee weapon, some clothing, and basic food and medicine is a good idea, and then you just run to your bunker. When you eventually come out, the world is now a wasteland and it's time to start surviving. So every day you get out of your hole and start exploring a new, procedurally generated location to gather resources. There's no map and you only have a compass to orient yourself, so you have to pay attention to your surroundings, memorize some landmarks, because finding some good loot and dying with it because you cannot find the entrance of your bunker anymore can be very frustrating, and will probably happen to you a couple times. Because at the end of each day, there's an emission, these giant storms, just like in S.T.A.L.K.E.R. You will hear the sirens in advance to warn you, but you have to rush back to the safety of your bunker to survive. You cannot stay outside as long as you want. And the next day, when you go outside, it's a brand new map to explore. The survival aspect is pretty basic. You will have to stay fed, hydrated, manage the radiation, and navigate different anomalies and scavenge all you can find to survive. I have to say the old school PS1 graphics that looked silly at first have kind of fully grown on me. I like games that are not afraid of going for a very specific and distinct look. Here it's kind of cozy and charming, almost goofy with some of the janky animation, but still filled with atmospheric, very eerie and impressive locations. Some of the anomalies look amazing. For some of them you can immediately see the inspiration taken from S.T.A.L.K.E.R, and there's enough variety and spots to discover that even after playing for a while and going through dozens of randomly generated maps, I still discover new areas I never visited before. It's definitely getting repetitive after a while, and it will need more variety in the future, but it's a really good start, and there's a lot to explore. You also have full weather systems and seasons, which increases the novelty of the maps too. You will learn to love sunny, big open areas to find back the way to your bunker easily, and start to hate the dense, foggy forest that are a nightmare to find your way through. You will also learn to hug the limits of the map and just follow them to find back your bunker, you will see. Overall, the look and atmosphere are great. In terms of world design, I like how unique it feels. The game does not run that great though, and could use some optimization. I mean, yes, I'm sitting at an 80 FPS average on epic settings on a mid-range laptop, which is perfectly fine. Some FPS drops here and there, but nothing too bad. I mean, I'm mainly getting drops when I'm jumping around my mountains of loot, which kinda makes sense. But at the same time, it's some Tomb Raider on PS1 type looking shit. How am I not getting at least 200 FPS in this is beyond me. It really makes me wonder if Unreal 5 is not that good of an engine, or developers just cannot for the life of them make it run properly. I mean, we're far from the optimization fiasco of a game like S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2, and it's literally a single developer here working on this. So I don't want to be too harsh, but optimization in games these days is just nuts. Anyways, the gameplay loop is pretty solid already. It definitely scratches this itch of slowly building your base, expanding, getting more resources, and crafting better gear to explore more dangerous areas. It's simple but pretty well implemented. You will start with some extra storage, then better workbenches, cooking, gardening, repairs, smelting, basic electricity, and so on. There's no real endgame goal yet besides surviving, so when you have the best gear, the best guns, and upgraded everything in your base, there is not much to do. I'd say it takes 15 to 20 hours as a solo to get there, which is pretty fair for an indie game. And when you look at the roadmap, more endgame goals are already planned, and community mods, among other things, which is super exciting because this is what can bring a game like that to a whole new level in terms of content and replayability. In terms of enemies or encounters in general, I love that the game is weird and embraces the weirdness, from mythical monsters to weird ugly Bigfoot. I don't know how to call these guys. The first I ever met was in a forest, so it's been ugly Bigfoot in my mind for me ever since. They're pretty chill though. Kidnapping dwarfs to make them run in your generators, wild animals, and much more that I will let you discover and not spoil here. It's a pretty fun and wacky world to explore. I also just crafted my first detector, but haven't gone artifact hunting yet. I'm trying to repair a hazmat suit first before I go, so I can't say too much about it. The NPCs you meet are dumb as hell though. AI definitely needs some work. Melee combat is a bit clunky, the gunplay is very basic. I have nothing bad to say about it. It works and does the job. It's just very basic and nothing to write about. The strength of the game is definitely with exploration, survival, and the base building for now. Combat in general is definitely a weak point. So far, I've encountered very few bugs, only wires disappearing when moving batteries around, actually. I'm sure there's more, but it's a good sign when it's so little. I don't have more right now that come to mind. I feel it's a game that's already well worth playing and a lot of fun. I mean, I'm gonna go back farming as soon as I'm done with this video, so yeah. The game could be a bit harder, especially because you can finish everything relatively fast. Dying could be a bit more meaningful. Right now, you just go back, loot your body, and that's it. But I actually really appreciate that there's no unjustified, silly, hardcore difficulty. We see that way too much in S.T.A.L.K.E.R mods, for example, just for the sake of artificially extending the life of the game. There's none of that here. It could just use a bit more content and clear endgame and progression goals, and maybe harder difficulty for people who want to suffer, but it's fine so far. There's already a lot of traders you can buy and sell stuff with. The base is already here to maybe have missions, special tasks you could take from them, so I'm pretty optimistic about what's coming next. All of that to say, it's a great game already, with a ton of potential in the future. You can add it to the list of passion projects by single developers I've been covering on the channel. After Zero Sievert, Fargon, Tunguska the Visitation, Road to Vostok, probably Project Silverfish I really want to try soon, Misery is definitely worth giving a shot, for a chill but dangerous survival crafting experience with a great atmosphere, to play solo or with some friends. I was kidding before, I do have friends, I just like playing solo. Nobody touches my pickles.